Today, I'm going to go over the complete history of Pikachu, starting from year 1 all the way to present time, spanning nearly 30 years of this Pokemon. Let's do this. 19XX. Before the release of Pokemon, and during the time that Pikachu was under development, Pikachu was conceptualized by Game Freak artist Asuko Nishida. And during a recent interview for a Japanese newspaper, Nishida mentions that she based Pikachu on a Dofuku, a popular Japanese delicacy. And this version of Pikachu wasn't even drawn out on paper, because according to Nishida, she went straight to the computer and drew his pixel art, making this original artwork lost media. And apparently the original concept for Pikachu didn't even look like Pikachu, because according to Nishida, it was simply a Dofuku with ears poking out of it, which fans theorized that it could have been inspired by a snow bunny, a popular treat in Japan. And lastly, during this time, Nishida mentions that she named Pikachu without much thought, where she combined the two Japanese onomatopoeias Pika Pika and Choo Choo, which represents the sparkling sound and the sound that a mouse makes. 1995.
Super Game Boy!
新しいドンキーコングとテトリスフラッシュも同時に新発売。
This is the year where Pikachu's design started radically changing, because Nishida's design had to be approved by Game Freak directors Koji Nishino and Satoshi Tajiri. And as the story goes, Satoshi wanted Pikachu to be more rodent-like and cuter. So Nishida scrapped the Dofuku concept and decided to base Pikachu on a mouse with squirrel-like cheek pouches, where it would store its electricity, just like how squirrels store their nuts. And alas, the Pikachu that we know and love today was born, the famous fat Pikachu. Also around this time, Nishida gave Pikachu 2 evolutions, where it would evolve into a Raichu and then again into a Gorochu. But due to game balancing and limited space in the game's cartridge, Gorochu was scrapped, along with several other evolutions for other Pokemon. 1996.
ねえねえ、私のポケットモンスターと勝負しない？
あんただれ?
This is the year that Pocket Monsters Red and Green were released in Japan, marking the first day that Pikachu was officially revealed to the public. And Pikachu was intentionally made to be a rare Pokemon, with having a 5% encounter rate in Viridian Forests. It was known as a mouse Pokemon, having a particularly high speed stat, with a Pokedex that stated it has small electric sacs on both of its cheeks. If threatened, it loses electric charges from its sacs. Later in the year, Pikachu made his first appearance on a trading card, appearing in the Pocket Monsters Cardest set as a holographic card, where it would have a white underbelly. And then just a month later, it made a second appearance in the Japanese Pokemon trading card game, showcasing his in-game appearance with its yellow cheeks, since at the time the Super Game Boy could only support one color for each Pokemon. And then just a month after that, Pikachu made his debut appearance in the first Pocket Monsters manga, called Pokemon Pocket Monsters, where it would be a supporting cast member, with Clefairy being the lead Pokemon, since at this time both Clefairy and Pikachu were the faces of Pocket Monsters. And lastly, sometime this year, the first toy of Pikachu was made, which was a simple finger puppet that looked like this. 1997.
ポケモンゲットだぜ!
This year marked Pikachu's debut on TV screens across Japan, kickstarting Ash's 25-year journey alongside Pikachu. And according to Junichi Masuda, the popularity of the anime is the reason why Pikachu became the face of Pokemon, since it had a broader appeal to both male and female audiences, which is what Clefairy didn't have. And with this decision, Game Freak decided to slim down Pikachu's design to simplify the animation process, allowing it to have more natural walking movements and human-like gestures, since it being a ball of fat made it look kind of awkward. Also in this year, Pikachu was given his very own manga series called The Alleged Tale of Pikachu, where it follows an alternate telling of Ash and Pikachu's adventures in the Kanto region. This year also unveiled Pikachu's upcoming pre-evolution in the Pokemon Gold and Silver Space Roll demo, where the design seemed to revisit Pikachu's initial Dofuku-inspired concept. This year also marks the first time Pikachu was given away for an event, where Core magazine gave away a flying Pikachu to players who submitted ideas for Pokemon for the upcoming game Pokemon 2, which eventually became Pokemon Gold and Silver. And lastly, this is the year that Core magazine announced their Illustrator contest, where the winners would receive 20 copies of their winning card art and the elusive Illustrator Pikachu card, which nowadays is considered to be the holy grail of all Pokemon cards, having been sold for hundreds of thousands to even millions of dollars. But that's for later in this video. Also, surprise Pikachu face. 1998.
Pikachu.
ピカチュウ。
任天堂64ピカチュウ元気でチュウ
This year marked the release of the first Pikachu short, where it would serve as an opener for the first Pokemon movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. This is also the year that Pikachu appeared in 3D for the first time, where it would be the only unevolved Pokemon that was available in the original Pokemon Stadium. Additionally, this is the year that Pikachu made his first appearance in America, not in the English versions of Pokemon Red and Blue though, but in the Game Boy camera game, where it would appear alongside Clefairy as a frame for the camera. This is also the year that Pikachu starred in its own video games, with the first one being Pokemon Yellow, where the player could choose Pikachu as their starter, and the other being Hey You Pikachu, where the player could interact with Pikachu using a microphone, like you saw with the old Asian guy. Furthermore, this year the first Pikachu card was released in America, appearing in the Pokemon Demo Game Booster Pack as part of a 24 card deck, alongside Charmander and a few other Pokemon. Also this year, we see the oldest Pikachu that we've ever seen in Pokemon, with the Pikachu being Puka, a Pokemon that's over 20 years old. And lastly, the Pocket Pikachu device was released this year too, allowing you to take care of a digital pet Pikachu and track your steps, similar to a Tamagotchi. Oh, and also the Happy Mask Salesman sold a Pikachu mask in Ocarina of Time, which is probably the first cross-game reference for Pikachu. 1999.
Something's gone wrong in the happy-go-lucky world of Nintendo.
This year, Pikachu was given his own unique item, the Light Ball, which was made in Pokemon Gold and Silver, where it would double his special attack. Also in Pokemon Gold and Silver, Pikachu became the highest level Pokemon owned by any NPC, with Red's Pikachu at level 81. Additionally, Pikachu was given his own shiny form in these games too, appearing as a golden colored Pokemon, likely symbolizing its mascot status. This was also the year that we officially got to see Pikachu's new pre-evolution, Pichu, in these games as well, where its design was also changed from the Defuku concept. Along with that, the Pokemon trading card game made its debut in America, giving birth to the Red Cheeks Pikachu card, since Wizards of the Coast decided to color its cheeks red to widen its appeal, but Pokemon had them revert the change, making this card an error card. And speaking of trading cards, this year also saw the release of the first American promo card, featuring Pikachu with a golden E3 stamp on the right side of it. Pikachu was also given his own mini-game in the Japanese Pokemon Stadium 2, where Voltorb and Pikachu would charge a machine. And similarly, a sequel to the Pocket Pikachu device was released this year too, called the Pokemon Pikachu 2 GS. And lastly for this year, Pikachu debuted in the new fighting game Super Smash Bros. And remarkably, it was tied for the highest ranked character in the game, with Kirby, both ranking as S-tier fighters, mostly due to their insane recovery, which would also be the first time you could play as Pikachu in any game as well. 2000.
Le Japon.
Japan.
This year, the English birthday Pikachu card made its debut in Australia, and it could only be purchased as part of the Pikachu World Collection set, which was sold during the Sydney 2000 Summer Olympics. And this collection featured all of the iconic Pikachu cards, which included cards like the Flying Pikachu, the Surfing Pikachu, the old school Yellow Cheeks Pikachu, and even a Pikachu for Pokemon Snap. And if you notice, each card came in a different language, to represent how the entire world comes together for the Olympics. Along with that, this year also marks the first time Pikachu starred in his own console, where the game store Toys R Us released a Pikachu Edition Game Boy Color, as well as Nintendo releasing a Pikachu Edition Nintendo 64. And lastly, in the English Pokemon Stadium 2, Pikachu was given his own minigame called Pichu's Power Plant, where Pichu and Pikachu from your game would compete to charge light bulbs. Also, Pikachu Cereal. 2001.
As Pikachu, the adorable flagship character of the more than 250 character Pokemon universe, becomes a first-time Big Balloon.
Now, believe it or not, this year, the small island country of Niue released a $1 coin featuring Pikachu to promote the Pokemon franchise. And yes, this is actual legal tender. This year also marked the first appearance of Pokemon in the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, with a giant flying Pikachu balloon floating around for everyone to see. Additionally, Super Smash Bros. Melee was released this year too, featuring Pikachu's pre-evolution Pichu as a new fighter, but as more of a joke character for the roster, as said by the creator of Smash Bros. Sakurai, and arguably the worst fighter in the game. This year, Pikachu also had his own mini-game in Pokemon Party Mini, called Pikachu's Rocket Start. And finally, Pikachu starred in the Pokemon Center commercial for the Rockefeller Center in New York City, which remained open for a mere 4 years. Oh, also Pikachu's Slugbug. Yes, this really happened. 2002. This year marked the release of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, where Pikachu gained the Static ability, which paralyzed Pokemon on contact. Also in the anime episode Hocus Pokemon, Ash was transformed into a Pikachu by a witch, which marks the first time a human became a Pikachu? Along with that, this year marks the first time Pokemon collaborated with McDonald's, releasing a variety of Pokemon cards, including this beautiful Pikachu card. And lastly, in the Adventures manga, Red's Pikachu becomes a father, hatching a Pichu with Yellow's Pikachu Choo-Choo, named Pibu. 2003.
全く新しい冒険が君を待っている。悪の組織に捕らえられたポケモンたちを救い出せ。
This year, Pikachu was added as a DLC Pokemon for the Japanese version of Pokemon Coliseum, where if you pre-ordered the game, you would receive a bonus disc that contained Pikachu and Celebi. And this Pikachu came with a unique original trainer of Kuroshiamu, which means Coliseum in Japanese. And lastly, Pokemon Channel was released this year too, where you can interact with Pikachu by watching TV and play mini-games together, with one of the TV shows being the Pichu Brothers, which is based on the Pikachu short from the third movie. 2004. This year marked the release of Pokemon Emerald, where Pikachu was given his own signature move called Volt Tackle, which at this time was the most powerful Electric-type move in the game, even more powerful than Thunder. This year also saw the release of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and according to an interview with IGN, the creators of Pokemon stated that Pikachu and Charizard were selling points for these games, since it had been 8 years since the release of Pokemon Red and Blue, and that the new target audience will see these Pokemon for the first time. This year also saw Pikachu star in the Pokemon Dash game, where Pikachu is used to race against time and other Pokemon. And at this time, and probably still now, this game was infamously known as the worst Pokemon game ever made, having a Metacritic score of 46, which is the lowest score that any Pokemon game on a console has gotten. Additionally, the new store system game, Pokemon Box, was released this year too, where the player would be rewarded with a surfing Pikachu if they filled in every box, similar to how Pikachu was given away in Pokemon Stadium. And lastly, Pikachu and Clefairy from the Pokemon Pocket Monsters manga become the first and only manga characters to make an appearance in the anime, where Ash recalls watching a Pokemon movie. 2005.
なっちゃった。ポケモンを救えるのは君だけ。
This year marked the debut of the first Steel-type Pikachu in the trading card expansion Mirage Forest, where it was featured as a box topper. Additionally, Pikachu was introduced as one of the playable characters in the new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, where the player would need to have an impish, hearty, or sassy personality. And lastly, the famous April Fool's Day of 2005 featured a magazine claiming a DS port of the Hey You Pikachu game, along with a new Pokemon named Kurochu, who would supposedly appear in this game. And this prank was probably inspired by the 2004 E3 tech demo of Pikachu on the Nintendo DS, which had a lot of Hey You Pikachu qualities to it. 2006.
不思議なパワー。ゴロンがポケモンを変えた。その名はデルタ。
This year marked the release of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, where Pikachu could only be found in the Trophy Garden, an area reserved only for rare Pokemon. This year also marked the release of Pokemon Battle Revolution, where the Pikachu fan trainer class was introduced. But funny enough, none of the Pikachu fans even used a Pikachu. So what kind of fans are they? Also in Battle Revolution, a Pikachu that knew Surf and Volt Tackle was given away after beating the game, which was pretty special because prior to this, there was no other way to obtain a Pikachu with both of these moves. This is also the year where Ash's Pikachu defeated a legendary Pokemon, with the Pokemon being Brandon's Regice, who happened to be a Frontier Brain. And lastly, this is the year where the first shiny Pikachu card was printed, which was released as an ultra rare card for the Hollow Phantom expansion, which happened to be one of my favorite Pokemon cards. Oh, and also a special Pikachu watch was made for the 10th anniversary of Pokemon, along with several other merchandise items. 2007.
It's Pikachu! God damn it! Ah!
This is the year of the famous Pikachu meme that you just saw. And let me tell you, when I was young, this was just hilarious. Also, this is the year where Pikachu kinda made an appearance in a Marvel comic, where this Nova Saturnian appeared to look like a blue Pikachu, which was really random. And that's about it. 2008. This is the year that Pikachu is named after a new protein that was discovered by scientists in Japan, where this protein would carry electric pulses from the brain to the eyes, in which they name it Pikachurin, after of course Pikachu. And lastly, this year marked the release of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where Pikachu would get an all-new Final Smash move, where it would become a ball of lightning and Volt Tackle across the stage. Oh, and also a new Pikachu card was printed with a unique move called Pika Punch, which sounded pretty cute. 2009. This year marked the release of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where it would be bundled with the new Pokewalker, which was the spiritual successor to the Pocket Pikachu device. And funny enough, researchers at Iowa State University determined that the Pokewalker was the most accurate pedometer available during this time, meaning that it was able to record your steps more accurately than an actual pedometer, which is kind of crazy. Also in the Pokewalker, Pikachu was given its own unique area called the Yellow Forest, where players could capture several Pikachu with the moves like Surf, Fly, Volt Tackle, and even Fake Out. Also in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, a special Pichu with a spiky ear made its appearance with its own storyline, but was only available within these games. And lastly, this is the year that Pokepark Wii Pikachu's Adventures was released, where players could play as Pikachu in his own story-based adventure. 2010.
世界征服を狙う悪の組織平和を守るポケモンレンジャー
This year marked the release of Pokemon Black and White, making it the first main series game where Pikachu wasn't naturally available in. But nonetheless, Pikachu was still given a new hidden ability in the game's coding, with the ability being Lightning Rod. Additionally, Pokemon Ranger Guardian Signs was released this year too, where a ukulele Pichu would serve as a partner Pokemon for the protagonist, which was pretty random, I'd say. And lastly, this is the year that Ash's Pikachu tied with Tobias' Latios in the Pokemon League Conference, which would apparently nerf Pikachu because it would later get destroyed by Little Five Snivy in the next season. Poor Pikachu. 2011. This is the year that Pokepark 2 was released, continuing Pikachu's story in a new park. And lastly, this is also the year where Ash's Pikachu was distributed in the games for the first time, where it had moves based on his anime moveset. And that's about it. 2012. The only notable thing that happened this year with Pikachu is that it got its own special edition of the Nintendo 3DS XL. And that's about it. It also got some cool Pokemon Worlds Burst too. 2013. This year marked the release of Pokemon X and Y, where Pikachu was given a buff in its defense and special defense stats by 10 points. Also in these games, Pikachu's cry was updated to match his anime cry where it says its own name, just like how you saw in the clip before this. And lastly, some hits of a Detective Pikachu game made its rounds across the internet, including this very creepy behind the scenes footage of a Pikachu with facial recognition. Just look at it. That's pretty creepy. 2014.
Pikachu Pop Star!
This year marked the release of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where Pikachu was given 5 new cosplay forms, which were Rockstar, Belle, Popstar, PhD, and Libre Pikachu. And these new forms came with new moves that Pikachu couldn't normally learn, with the moves being Meteor Mash, Icy Wind, Draining Kiss, Electric Terran, and Flying Press respectively. And lastly, a special Pikachu cafe opened up in Tokyo, Japan, offering Pikachu-themed food items like Pikachu and Bulbasaur's best friend forever curry plate, or coffee with a Pikachu tail cookie. And this restaurant is still open to this day. 2015. This year marked the release of Pokken Tournament, where Pikachu was given not one, but 2 fighters in the game, with one being a Pikachu Libre and the other being a regular Pikachu. And that's about it. 2016. This year marked the release of Pokemon Go, where Pikachu was available as a secret starter Pokemon, which could be unlocked by walking away from Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle 4 times. This is also the year of the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, where Pokemon released a 24-karat Pikachu card made out of solid gold, which sold for a hefty $1,000. This year also marked the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon, where Pikachu's evolution, Raichu, received an Alolan form, which was most likely based on Puka from the anime. Along with that, Pikachu received a signature Z move in these games too, with the moves being Catastropica and Stoke Spark Surfer for Alolan Raichu, with Catastropica becoming the new strongest Electric-type move. Also this year, Pikachu starred in his own mini-game called Great Detective Pikachu Birth of a New Duo, where it'd be a sneak peek of the upcoming game Detective Pikachu that'll be released 2 years later. This year also marked the first crossover with Pikachu with the Mario universe, where a special Mario and Luigi Pikachu card was sold to promote the new game Super Mario Maker 3DS. And these cards go for thousands of dollars nowadays when they were originally sold for a mere 3,000 yen upon release, which was about $20. And lastly, the first shiny Pikachu made its appearance in the anime, where one would be featured in the Poke TV segment in the episode Making Friends and Influencing Villains. Oh, also Pokemon 20th Anniversary Pikachu logo. 2017.
It's because I always want to be with you.
This year marked the 20th anniversary of the Pokemon anime, and as a celebration, Pokemon released the I Choose You movie where Pikachu would literally talk for the first time. And damn it, it's making me choke right now. Along with that, 6 new special Pikachu variants were released as a celebration as well, where each Pikachu would have a hat from Ash's Adventure, and also a new signature Z move, 10 million volt Thunderbolt. And lastly, this was also the year that Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon were released, where a new location was added called Pikachu Valley, which had an RV containing an infinite number of Pikachu, where you could take pictures, interact, and even dance with them. 2018. This year marked the release of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, where Pikachu would be the player's main partner and learn secret techniques like Splishy Splash, Floaty Tail, Zippy Zap, and Pika Papow. This year also marked the full release of Detective Pikachu, and funny enough, fans made a literal petition wanting Danny DeVito to voice Pikachu in this game, but DeVito had no interest. And lastly, the Detective Pikachu movie trailer was released this year too, where Ryan Reynolds will voice Pikachu in this first live-action Pokemon movie. Also, Shiny Afro Pikachu, 2019. This year marked the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield, where Pikachu would get his very own Gigantamax form, which looked like a nod to his original, fatter design. Additionally, Pikachu was chosen as a rare Pokemon that Kermit would sometimes have in his mouth in his gorging form, which is just hilarious. This year also saw the very first live-action Pokemon movie starring Pikachu and Detective Pikachu, with of course Ryan Reynolds as his voice actor. And lastly, in the anime, Ash and Pikachu become champions after 20 whole years, where Pikachu would defeat Professor Kukui and Tapu Koko. And also in the anime, Pokemon Journeys was released this year too, where in the first episode shows the backstory of Ash's Pikachu as a Pichu, and how it evolved. 2020.
Pikachu!
This year, a new cat Pikachu was released in celebration of the Crown Tundra DLC, with the cat being Ash's cat from Pokemon Journeys. Also this year, Pokemon Home was released, where all players who started the game would automatically get a Japanese Pikachu in their box. And lastly, Pokemon Cafe Mix was released this year too, having Pikachu as a lead character and a helper in the game. 2021. This year marked the 25th anniversary of the Pokemon franchise, where Pikachu was chosen as a mascot as Celebration again. And funny enough, for April Fools, Pikachu's face was changed to Bidoo's face, which looked very silly. Additionally, the most powerful Pikachu card was printed in commemoration of the 25th anniversary, called Pikachu V Union, which featured 25 different Pikachu drawn by 25 different artists. Also this year, 2 distinct spider species were discovered, and were named in honor of Pikachu, with their names being the Alistair Pikachu and the Epicratinus Pikachu. And lastly, Logan Paul purchased the only PSA 10 Illustrator Pikachu card for over $5 million, setting a new world record for the most expensive Pokemon card. 2022. This is the year that Ash's Pikachu defeated Leon's undefeated Charizard with a powerful Thunderbolt, crowning Ash and Pikachu as the world champions of the Pokemon League. Damn it, I'm getting choked up again. And honestly, this is all this year really needed. 2023.
Which way do you want to go?
Pika.
This year marked the final episode of Ash and Pikachu in the anime, where they would pass the baton to the new cast of Pokemon Horizons, where Captain Pikachu is introduced as the new lead Pikachu. This year also marked the release of Detective Pikachu Returns, bringing this Pikachu story to a close. And lastly, Pokemon did a crossover event with the Van Gogh Museum of Amsterdam, making a special Pikachu card resembling Van Gogh's self-portrait with a gray felt hat, which sparked a lot of drama and controversy. 2024. And finally, as of today, March 17, 2024, Pikachu is featured in the new Pokemon Legends ZA trailer, where it is seen running in Lumio City. And lastly, this is the latest Pikachu card that was printed in the Paldean Fates expansion set, making it the 211th Pikachu card ever printed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And check out this video right here for one fact for every Pokemon owned by Ash. And be sure to subscribe. I'm almost at 1 million.